lesson. Today's lesson is going to be coming from the book of Matthew, chapter 25, and we're going to dive into the parable of the 10 virgins. All right, the parable of the 10 virgins. Matthew 25 and verse 1.
The book of Matthew, chapter 25 and verse 1.
Come on.
Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins.
So now this is Christ setting a parable before his disciples. And he's comparing the kingdom of heaven like unto 10 virgins. Read.
Which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom.
And they went forth to go meet this bridegroom. All right? So now, let's break down these verses. Give me 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 2. All right? Pertaining to the virgins. All right? 2 Corinthians 11 and verse 2.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 2.
Come on.
For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy.
So the Most High God that we serve is a jealous God. And he says, listen, I'm jealous over you with godly jealousy. Read.
For I have exposed you to one husband.
For I have espoused you to one husband.
That I may present you as a chaste virgin.
That I may present you as a chaste virgin. So that you here is who? Israel. We are the virgins, all right? That we got to be presented unto Christ as. Because Christ in this example here is the bridegroom. He's the man. Israel is the woman in this example. Everybody with me? Read it again.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 2.
Come on.
For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy.
Just like any man would be with his wife, it's the same exactly with the Most High God. He's looking at Israel as his wife. So he says, listen, I'm jealous over you with godly jealousy. Read.
For I have espoused you to one husband.
I have made you espoused unto one husband. This is talking about we are not supposed to be dibbling and dabbling with other gods because there's only one true God. That's our husband. And that's why the Most High compare our relationship to a marriage. Because he does not want to look down and see us fornicating with other gods. All right? Read.
That I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ.
He said, my job is to present you, meaning to clean you up. All right? Every man on earth wants to be married to a virgin. Everybody wants that thing. But guess what? Sadly mistaken to say, you ain't going to find it today. I hate to say it because why the Bible says the land should go into what? Order. All right? And it's because of things that we did in our time past. All right? But not to deviate, the point is, he has to clean us up. He's the only one that has the ability to clean us up and make us whole to where he can present us to Christ, who is holy of holy, as a chaste virgin. Everybody understand that? All right, so go back. Go back to Matthew chapter 25 and read it again.
The book of Matthew chapter 25 and verse 1.
Come on.
Then shall the kingdom of heaven be like unto 10 virgins.
These 10 virgins are the men. We're going to read it in a minute.
Which took their lamps.
They took their lamps.
And went forth to meet the bridegroom.
So now, what is this lamp? Give me Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 23. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 23. What is this lamp that these virgins took?
The book of Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 23.
Come on.
For the commandment is a lamp.
It says the commandment is a what?
Is a lamp.
Is a lamp. Read.
And the law is light.
And the laws is light. So when you have a lamp, it's signifying that you have some kind of what? Understanding. Your light represents these laws. So these virgins had a lamp that's supposed to be shining. All right? Representing the laws of God. Everybody with me? All right, finish that up.
And reproof of instruction are the way of life.
So now let's go back to Matthew chapter 25 and verse 1 again.
The book of Matthew chapter 25 and verse 1.
Come on.
Then shall the kingdom of heaven be like unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom.
And they went forth to meet the bridegroom. So let's find out who's the bridegroom. Give me Isaiah 62 and verse 5.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 62 and verse 5. For as a young man marrieth a virgin.
It says, for as a young man, all right, and he marries a young woman,
so shall thy sons marry thee.
mm-hmm.
And as the bridegroom rejoices over the bride,
He said, the same way like the bridegroom rejoices over the bride,
so shall thy God rejoice over thee.
So who is it comparing the bridegroom here to? Christ. Christ is the bridegroom. Everybody see that? Go back to Matthew chapter 25 and verse 1 again.
The book of St. Matthew chapter 25 and verse 1.
Come on.
Then shall the kingdom of heaven be like unto 10 virgins.
These virgins are the men.
Which took their lamps.
Their lamps is the laws of God.
And went forth to meet the bridegroom.
And they went forth to go meet the bridegroom. Now this lamp, all right, when we read down, it's going to signify two things. But mainly, lamps represent light. All right, but some of these bridegrooms, all right, it's not going to be, what I'm looking for is saying, they're not going to be in alignment with how to use it the right way. I'll put it like that, okay, as we read on. Read.
Verse 2. And 5 of them were wise.
So now we're talking about the characteristics of these 10 virgins, all right? It says, and 5 of them were wise. Read.
And 5 were foolish.
And 5 were foolish. So now, what makes us wise? Give me Psalms 111 verse 10.
The book of Psalms, chapter 111 and verse 10.
Come on.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
So the word wise comes from the word wisdom. All right? So it says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. It's what makes us wise. When you begin to fear the Lord, that's when you get what? Wisdom. And that makes us what? Wise. Read.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
So understand this second part where it says, a good understanding have all they that do, that short 2-letter word, that do his commandments. That's the operative word. In order for you to be wise or to show yourself having wisdom, you have to be doing the what? Commandments. That's what makes us wise. All right, go back to Matthew.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 25 and verse 2.
Come on.
And 5 of them were wise.
5 were wise.
And 5 were foolish.
And 5 was foolish. So now what's make us foolish? Give me Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 22. The book of Jeremiah chapter 4 and verse 22.
The book of Jeremiah chapter 4 and verse 22. For my people is foolish.
God says his people are foolish. Read.
They have not known me.
They do not know God.
They are childish children.
Rebellious children.
And they have none understanding.
And they have what?
They have none understanding.
And they have no understanding. Read.
They are wise to do evil.
The only understanding that they have is the ability to be wise and sneaky to do evil. Meaning our people know how they're going to find a way to go and fornicate. They wait until nighttime. You see what I'm saying? Or they'll go to work and try to do their little sneakiness. We find all kinds of ways to be wise in doing evil. All right? Therefore, God says, my people are foolish. When you go outside or outside the laws of God, that makes you what? Fools. All right? And you have people in Christianity that says, oh, you shouldn't be calling people fools. That's because they do not read the Bible. They're ignorant, and therefore they are what? Foolish. All right? So now go back to Matthew chapter 5. Read verse 2 again.
The book of Matthew chapter 25 and verse 2.
Come on.
And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish.
Read.
They that were foolish.
So now he says, the ones that did not keep the commandments of God, read.
Took their lamps.
They took their lamp.
And took no oil with them.
And took no oil with them. Give me that in Psalms 133 and verse 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 133 and verse 1.
Come on.
Behold, how good and how pleasant is it for brethren to dwell together in unity.
See, he said that with emphasis. When you see the exclamation mark on the internet, and then he said that with some great authority. Meaning, it's a great and marvelous thing to see brothers and sisters dwell together in unity. Read.
It is like the precious ointment upon the head.
Now he's comparing it to precious ointment upon the head. Read.
That ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard.
Come on.
That went down to the skirt of his garment.
So now, what is it saying here? The ointment or the precious ointment represents the oil. All right? It's a good thing. It's precious. It costs money. It's valuable. So this oil that these foolish, 5 foolish virgins did not take was the commandments. They wasted their oil, meaning they wasted their understanding. How do we do that today? When we come inside here and we do not go home and then go study the class that was brought out. We don't go home and we don't look at the videos that was edited and put up online. And then you come back in and you hear foolishness that people ask questions about, and it's like, did you not watch the class? Did you not take notes? That's you wasting the oil or the understanding that the Most High gave you. You take these brothers up here to be foolish because, we in your regular average Christian brothers with the suit and tie, sweating and patting their head on Sunday. You're not going to get that here. You're going to get these words. That's what's precious and that's what's important. Read.
Verse 3. As the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountain of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forever.
This oil that we have is supposed to bless us forever, so we can have everlasting life. All right, so go back to Matthew 25. You got something?
But that oil also get represented like coming to Bible study. You keep that fluid. That fluid will keep the fire lit. Without that oil, you can't get no fire. So that oil right here in the Bible also representing that, like the brother saying. You pick up the Bible every day and you learn it and you study it. You keep that fire lit. Because if you ain't got that oil, eventually you're going to start losing the understanding of the law or how to keep the law.
That's right. So from there, give me Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 7. We still dealing with this oil. Those that the foolish that took no oil with them. All right? The foolish that took no oil with them, meaning they didn't take any understanding. They walk around with the Bible. And you perceive that they're smart and they're wise. They're godly men and women. But guess what? They're just putting on the front. That's all they're doing. And this probably is talking about the Christian church. They walk around with the Bible. They go to church and they wear their little 3-piece suit. And you think, that's children, they're the men of God. But they're no fools. Read.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 14 and verse 7. Go from the presence of a foolish man.
What does the Bible say?
Go from the presence of a foolish man.
Another word for saying go from the presence of a foolish man, meaning do not keep company with foolish people. A lot of us like to entertain foolishness. And God is saying, do not waste your time with them. Keep your distance from a foolish man or woman. Read.
When thou perceivest not in him the lips of knowledge.
So now when you don't perceive that this brother or sister have understanding, because the knowledge here represents what?
The law.
The laws of God, according to what?
Malachi 2.
Malachi 2 and 7. So when you don't see knowledge emulating from a brother or sister, you got to say, you know what? I got to separate myself from this person. Because they're going to mess around and cause me to get my head chopped off. So he's telling you, when you see people that don't have understanding, separate yourself from them. Likewise, when we're reading about the 5 virgins, and the five wise, and the 5 foolish. The foolish brothers and sisters, when you see them, separate yourself from them. Because especially they're not trying to listen to gain understanding. They're only listening to debate, to scoff, to make mockery. That's their whole purpose. They're not actually listening to try to gain understanding. Everybody understand what I'm saying? All right, from there, give me Romans 10 and 1. We're still dealing with them not taking their oil.
The book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 1. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they might be saved.
So now, Paul is letting us know his whole desire And just like every last one of us, all our desires in here is for all our people to be saved. It should be. Nobody in here should be dang on thinking that they're still highly above the brothers and sisters that are not repented yet and say, oh, I'm better than you. We should be, our hopes and our desire should be the same way Paul one was. Is for all Israel to be saved. But we understand through the knowledge of God that that's not going to be the case. But that's our desire. Because that shows God that, you know what? You really have love for your people. Read.
Verse 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God.
They have a what?
They have a zeal of God.
They have a zeal of God.
But not according to knowledge.
So now when it says about the 5 foolish that took their lamp but didn't take any oil, meaning that's the same way. They got a zeal for God. They got a passion for God. Some of those people that you put in that category were people like T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, your local pastors and ministers around here. You will say, you know what? That person got a zeal for God. But it's not according to the knowledge of God, meaning the laws of God. How do we know? Because the demeanor says that they do not have the knowledge of God. They're not women standing up in the pulpit teaching men and women. That's the zeal of God, but not according to what? Knowledge. Men walking around with their head bald, shaved face, you know what I'm saying, preaching on Sunday. They got a zeal or passion for God, but not according to what? Knowledge. This is how you know that these 5 foolish virgins, they walk around acting like they're in the truth, saying everything that sounds right, but their actions does not line up with the knowledge of God. Therefore, that makes them foolish. They got the lamp. The lamp is the word. The problem is they don't have the oil. The oil is the action. That's what it represents. All right? Finish that up.
That was it.
Verse 3.
Verse 3. For they, being ignorant of God's righteousness.
Now you got to understand, people think that God is all about love, but he's got a way to insult you. He said, listen, those people are ignorant. Another word for ignorant is foolish, stupid. They don't know anything. Even though they may have went to seminary school, they went to theology school, whatever you want to call it, and they learned this Bible. They got precept for days, but their actions don't line up. Therefore, God is saying they are ignorant. They are part of that foolish 5 virgins. They got the lamp, but no oil. Read.
And going about to establish their own righteousness.
They go about to establish their own righteousness. Come on.
Have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of God.
Their own righteousness is celebrating things that they was taught by their oppressor. Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, birthdays, anniversaries. Those things are your own righteousness. All right? Halloween, they'll turn around and put that and say, oh, well, we know it's wicked, but y'all can come on this side here on Sunday, and we'll call it Holy Week. Foolishness. That's still taking in the ways of your oppressor. All right? Read.
For Christ is
That's all I want. It says, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of God, meaning have not fully turned their feet to keeping the testimony of God, meaning applying the laws, statutes, and commandments. They have not done it. They're going about establishing their own righteousness. You don't have to keep the law. Come to church on Sunday. We can gather on the first day of the week. The laws of God is done away with. That's them establishing their own righteousness, and therefore, in the process, leading our people to the slaughter. That's out of order. These people are foolish. God is saying, when you see you like that, separate yourself from them. When you perceive that they don't have an understanding, do not keep company with them. All right? Because all that's going to develop is confusion. If you sit there long enough, a Christian will make you believe or think that, you know what? You might be right. This thing with Israelite stuff might be wrong, man. That's because you're not sitting there too long and entertain the devil. All right? So God is warning us, separate yourself from them. All right? From there, give me, go back to Matthew chapter 5.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 25.
And we're going to pick up at verse
4.
Yeah.
Verse 4. But the wise took oil in their vessel with their lamps.
So now he says the wise, they took oil with them. So when you compare those two scriptures, the foolish, they had the Bible, but they didn't take no oil, no understanding. They didn't take no root. The wise, they had the lamp, meaning the Bible, and they actually sat down and studied what they read and digested it, meaning took it in. Now they got the understanding, and the action follows with the dang on possession of the book. Everybody walk around and have that zeal or that form of godliness, but it's not according to knowledge. All right? So don't get tricked or bamboozled by people that have the appearance of acting like they're godly, but they fall from it. They have to be showing their actions, and it has to line up with the Bible. You should not come up to somebody and then tell, listen, you know you got to wear a dress, and you know you're not supposed to be teaching a congregation of men. And they supposed to be having this form of godliness, but for some reason in their mind, they can't seem to compute that and say, wait a minute, well, yeah, you missed, that is in the scripture. They omit those kind of scriptures so they can continue in their own folly. That's foolishness. But when you look at the wise, it says, they what? Read it again. Verse 4.
Verse 4. But the wise took oil in their vessel with their lamp.
They took the oil with vessels in their lamp. All right, so now give me Proverbs 21 and verse 10. Verse 20, I'm sorry. Proverbs 21 and verse 20. The wise took their lamps with oil.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 20.
Come on.
There is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise.
What? And oil in the what?
And the dwelling of the
So
wise.
now you got to remember, the scriptures is twofold. It's telling you straight up in the beginning. Read verse 20 again.
Verse 20. There is treasure.
There is a treasure
to be desired.
to be desired. What is that treasure? Read.
And oil in the dwelling of the wise.
Oil in the dwelling of the wise. So the oil represents these commandments when you begin to apply them. That's the treasure. So you got these 5 foolish brothers and sisters walking around with an empty treasure box, thinking that when they open it up, it's going to be a prize in it. It's not going to be nothing there because they didn't take anything in it till they're going to build themselves up. All right, so they're just walking around with an empty vessel, but nothing in it is going to give them salvation. But the wise, they know that treasure that's in it, we're going to open it up, we're going to read it, and we're going to apply it. That's the treasure that we're looking for, these words. We got to meditate on these things day and night and apply them. We can't just look at them like words on the page and not do what it says to do. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Read.
But a foolish man spendeth it up.
But a foolish man will take the oil, all right, the precious things that's in that treasure box, and spend it all up on foolishness. He buying harlots, he buying fancy cars, he buying big rims to go on airplanes, tinted windows, all this crap. He's spending up all the dang on treasure, not putting it to use. He's just doing it because why? It's beneficial to him. An example of that is in Christian church again. How do you know this true? The pastor, he get all the glitz and the glamour. He got the fancy house, the fancy car. He not slept with all the dang old pretty ladies in the congregation. He getting all the treasure. But nothing that's worthwhile of your salvation is being taught and taking root inside the people. He's taken away from the people, but not giving nothing back to the people. Everybody understand what I'm saying? He's spitting up all the treasure. These words are just being thrown around aimlessly, and it's not taking root in nobody, because why? He's not teaching it the right way. All right. So from there, go back to Matthew chapter 25.
Book of Matthew, chapter 25.
Verse 5.
And verse 5.
Read verse 4 again so we can get the thought.
Chapter 25 and verse 4. But the wise took oil in their vessel with their lamps.
Mm-hmm.
While the bridegroom tarried.
It says, while the bridegroom tarried. Who's the bridegroom? Christ. While he tarried,
they all slumbered and slept.
They all slumbered and slept. What does that mean? All right, let's get that in Habakkuk. In the book of Habakkuk. All right. We don't normally go on this book here, but we got some meat in here. Habakkuk chapter 2, and I want verse 1.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Come on.
I will stand upon my watch.
So now this is Habakkuk. He's giving a warning about what he's going to see pertaining to Israel in the future. So now the Most High called him to stand on his watch, to look and see what's going to be set before the nation. Read.
And set me upon the tower,
Uh-huh.
and will watch to see what he will say unto me,
To see what he's going to say unto them.
and what I shall answer when I'm reproved.
When I'm reproved. All right, come on.
And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision.
Do what?
Write the vision.
Do what?
Write the vision.
So while the bridegroom and Terry, they all slumbered and slept. When he said he's tarrying, he's talking about the vision. The vision came in the time past, but it took a minute to get to where it's at right now. That's what it means when it says, and it tarried. The it is talking about the vision. Habakkuk was seeing the vision. Isaiah saw the vision. Elijah saw the vision. Moses saw the vision. But that vision tarried a long time before it got to where we are today. All right? Because a lot of things had to transpire before we got to this point. That's what it means that it tarried. The vision tarried. Read.
And make it plain upon tables.
So now he said, when the time comes, Habakkuk, you have to make it plain upon tables. So he had to write down what he saw and put it in layman's term. This is for them brothers that like to use fancy 14-syllable words for people that just need the straight basic, the milk. Just trying to be fancy. Keep it simple. He said, make it plain, easy for people to understand. Read.
That he may run that readeth it.
So now when you see the vision come to life, you're going to run and begin to read about it. You're going to see the dang Twin Towers falling. You're going to see this kingdom falling. And you're going to read about it in the book of James. You're going to read about it in Revelation. You're going to run to look and see, where do I find this information? Oh, snap, it's in the Bible. That's the vision there in such and such time. That's the vision that tarried. Everybody understand? Finish that up.
That was the end of it.
Verse 3.
Verse 3. Verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time.
There we go. That's the point. The vision was given to them at different times, but it was not going to come to pass until God appointed it at that designated time. So that's the thing that tarried. All right? Read.
But at the end it shall speak.
Today is speaking. Everything that we're reading about now is coming to pass. When Ezekiel wrote about the valley of dry bones, waking up, that already came to pass. That's talking about us. That vision was given to him a long time ago. But now it's beginning to speak. But he said, hey, when it should be telling to you in Hosea that you are not my people, it's going to be saying that you are my people. That vision was given there in Hosea, and now it's being it's starting to speak. All these things is coming to pass. All right, finish.
And not lie.
And it's not going to lie. Nobody can come against it now and say, that's not true. They're trying, but it can't be disputed. That's why when you hear about Malcolm X saying that you all don't know that you are all the valley of dry bones, he was saying it back then. But you got Edomites today saying, oh, that nigga ain't lying. The Bible says, and it should not lie. It's going to tell the truth. God, it says that God be true and every man a what? A liar. So whenever you speak in the words of God, that word is what? True. If any man come in contrary to what the Bible says, he's a liar. Read.
Though it tarry, wait for it.
What tarry, brothers? The vision. The vision. The vision. It says, though it tarry, what?
Wait for it.
We got to be patient. That's why I open up this rock about we got to learn to be patient. We want things to happen right now, right then. God said, no, it's not on your time. Your time is not like mine. Read.
Because it will surely come.
It will surely come.
It will not tarry.
It will not tarry. So when these prophecies start to unfold, it's going to come so fast, it's going to make your head spin. And a lot of people is going to get left like those 5 foolish virgins. Because why? They ain't going to understand what's going on. because they thought that the chariot's not king. Oh, Christ not died and forgive us for all our sins. So now they not missed the damn boat. But meanwhile, all these prophecies is coming off and popping off left and right, and they still sleep. All right. From there, give me 2 Thessalonians. All right. 2:1. So it says, though it tarry, wait for it.
The book 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Now we're still dealing with though it tarry, meaning the vision. Though the vision tarry, while the bridegroom tarry, they all slumbered and slept. So the vision tarried for a while, meaning it didn't come to pass when the vision was given unto these prophets. But now today, it's they ain't going to speak it, and it's coming to pass. So now, what are some of these other things that has to come to pass? We're about to read about it now. Read.
The book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Come on.
And now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him.
So now, this is then the time of Paul. This is one of those visions that was tarried. All right? Read.
That ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled.
Don't be shaken in mind or troubled by the things that is about to be revealed. Come on.
Neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letters, as from us,
Read.
as that the day of Christ is at hand.
The day of Christ is at hand. That was in the time of Paul. But guess what? That's still relevant for us today. The only difference is, in the time of Paul, they thought it was going to happen right then. But that vision wasn't set for that appointed time. The man of perdition has to be revealed. Then the end is going to come. So that's talking about us now, and we're going to prove it. Read.
Let no man deceive you by any means.
It says, let you, brothers and sisters, do not let no man deceive you by any means whatsoever. Read.
For that day shall not come.
The vision that was given unto Paul, the vision that was given unto Daniel Habakkuk, the vision that was given unto Daniel Jeremiah. He says, these things shall not what?
Shall not come.
These things ain't coming until,
except there come a falling away first.
That means that the 12 tribes of Israel had to go completely into captivity and forgot their whole nationality to the point where they utterly destroyed. That was prophesied in the time of Luke. Read.
And that man of sin.
And now, also without destruction, that man of sin
be revealed.
Has to be revealed. What are we doing today? Showing who that dang man of sin is. Esau's being revealed. Is that not happening? So the vision is now what? Speaking. It's speaking. It's not tarrying no more. Now we got to play catch up. We got to hold on and don't miss the boat. Fill your lamp up with the oil. Read.
The son of perdition.
The son of perdition. That's Esau. Has to be revealed. Then it says the end is going to come. So everybody on planet Earth knows that Esau is the so-called white man. So therefore, the vision is then going to happen right before our freaking eyes. And a lot of us is not paying attention. A lot of us don't want to then go shake the dust off because why? We got a lot of them that's married to Esau. They got kids by Esau. They love Esau. Well, guess what? They're going to be a part of that 5 foolish that took their lamp but refused to put oil in it. All right, go back to Matthew.
The book of Matthew, chapter 25.
And verse 5.
And verse 5.
Come on.
While the bridegroom tarried.
So now when it says by Christ tarried, because Christ is the one that gave these brothers the dang prophecy. But these things had to be appointed in its own time. All right? It didn't happen when he gave it to them. All right? We now are living these Bible prophecies. So the vision tarried. Read.
They all slumbered and slept.
Now it says they, the Israelites, all slumbered and slept. What does it mean when we all slumbered and slept? Give me Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians chapter 5. It says we all slumbered and slept. 14.
The book of Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 14. Wherefore he said, awake.
Do what?
Awake.
Do what?
Awake.
That's what we telling our brothers and sisters today. We got to wake the hell up. It's no more time for us to be asleep now. We can read, we can write, we can comprehend. It's time for us to wake up. Read.
That sleepest.
That what?
That sleepest.
Because why? We were asleep. When it says we sleep, meaning we was dead, we was completely destroyed. Read.
And arise from the dead.
And arise from the dead. What makes us dead? Proverbs chapter 21, verse 16. We're coming right back here. So it says, awake ye therefore that sleep. Those of us that slumbered and slept on the prophecies being fulfilled. He's telling us now to wake up. Those of you that still found in the darkness. Dead is darkness. Read.
The book of Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 16.
Come on.
The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding.
The man that wanders out of the way of understanding, refuse to humble down and apply these commandments,
shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
He shall sleep. That's those that slumber and slept. Meaning you're going to be put to death. And Christ don't want you to be put to death. He's telling you, wake up. Return back unto me. Come up here. A lot of us is still asleep. And you know how Jake is. They don't like to get up in the morning. Hit the snooze button 3 or 4 times. 15 minutes later, 30 minutes later, now you finally decide to get up. Now you're late for work. It's going to be the same analogy when it comes time for you getting on them chariots. Allah is going to keep hitting the snooze button. Because we think, you know, we not heard that before. My mom been telling me that for about 30, 40 years. Grandmama told me about it too. And that ain't going to happen. We've been preaching for 30, 40, 50 years. And that ain't going to happen. And then that point in time is when the thing going to pop off. And you going to miss the boat. All right. Go back. Go back to Ephesians. Chapter 5 verse 14 again.
The book of Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 14.
Come on.
Wherefore he said, awake, sleepest.
So now it says, when those that slumber and slept, that's talking about us. We've been complete into captivity to the point we got utterly destroyed, and we don't even know who our God is. We don't even know our nationality. Now those of us that God is awake. So we heard the cry. We woke up now. We know who we are. We know who we come from. All right? Read.
And arise from the dead.
And come up from the dead. Read.
And Christ shall give thee light.
And Christ shall give us understanding of these words. All right? From there, I'm going to show you an example there. Give me Jeremiah 17. Jeremiah 17. This is an example of us going utterly into complete darkness. All right? Jeremiah 17 and verse 4.
The book of Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4.
Come on.
And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
So now, when it says, even thou thyself shall discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, he's talking to who? Jeremiah. So Jeremiah was told about a vision about him in the future that he would also forget his heritage. Meaning he will forget his nationality. He will forget the laws of God. He will commit sin. Jeremiah was told about his future. So listen here, brother, you gonna just continue from this heritage. You're gonna forsake me. You're gonna start falling after all kind of idolatry, eating all kind of abominable food. You too, yourself, Jeremiah, is gonna forget who your God is. That's why in Isaiah 1 and 3 it says, my people is just like an ox and an ass. All right? They don't even know, nor do they consider that they are my people. Because why? Prophecy had to be fulfilled about them forgetting their heritage. Jeremiah forgot his heritage. All right? We don't know who he is today, but he did. Because why? Prophecy is not going to fail. Read.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
So Jeremiah was going to go into captivity. And the Lord was going to put a deep sleep on him to forget his heritage. This is going into what? Regeneration. That's for those brothers and sisters that like to dive deep into dang stuff. Don't want to stick to the milk. Every once in a while, things are going to be coming out in the scripture that's going to be deep. And it's not going to catch your eyes and your understanding right away. You got to learn these basic stuff first. And then as time go by, you'll grow stronger in the spirit. And then you'll be like, oh, snap. I got that now. And it's going to be like a big bright light that's going to hit you in the face. You'll be like, oh, snap. I'm out of darkness now. I got this thing. But we got to be patient and wait on it. All right? I finish that up?
For ye have kindled a fire in my anger.
Because Jeremiah will piss the Most High off. He said, listen, you're going to kindle a fire in my anger. So now you got to imagine, you sitting up there serving the Lord, and then he come down and tell you, listen, bro, I'm going to cause you to serve your enemies because you're going to piss me off. That's just like dang on, who was it, Peter? Peter said, listen, no, I would never forsake you. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here till the day I die. I got your back. But then as soon as that damn adversity came, Peter was like, listen, I don't know him. I don't know that man. He did it 3 times. And I said, damn, Peter, I thought you had the dang power. Peter was a simp. Quick, boy. He sold out the Messiah. All right. Give me 2 Ezra chapter 2. So the Most High is the one orchestrating all these things. All right? And we got to understand that's our power. Because why? These prophecies have to be fulfilled in order for the Bible to be a true book. Everybody good? All right? 2 Ezra chapter 2 and verse 16.
In the Apocrypha, the book 2 Ezra chapter 2 and verse 16.
Listen up, listen good. This is an example of the regeneration and proving that Jeremiah did forget his nationality and forgot who his power was. But watch what the law says. Read.
And those that be dead,
Went into the dang way of darkness, start keeping dang false holidays, not keeping the commandments. That's darkness. Read.
will I rise up again from their
He
places,
said, I'm going to rise them up again from their dang places, meaning from away from their sins and from their literal death. All right, read.
and bring them out of the grave.
And I'm going to bring them out of the grave.
For I have known my name is Israel.
He said, for I have known my name in Israel. The word El means God. All right, so that means in Israel. All right, come on.
Fear not, thy mother of the children, for I have chosen thee,
I have chosen you, Israel.
saith the Lord.
Uh-huh.
For thy help will I send my servant Essay.
So now he says, well, in that day, I'm going to send my help, Essay. Essay is Isaiah. Read.
And Jeremy.
And who?
And Jeremy.
Jeremy is Jeremiah. So he's telling us in these last days, Isaiah is going to be back on the earth preaching the gospel. Jeremiah is going to be back on the earth preaching the gospel. He's going to shake the dust off them, raise them from the dead, and they're going to come back to their heritage. All right? Because they're going to bethink themselves and say, I've not heard this thing before. I just can't remember, but you know what? I'm looking at going to go and start keeping these commandments. And as they continue to get built up and get strong in this truth, they're going to be the ones that the Bible says is going to come and be the Most High's help. Isaiah is going to be teaching the commandments. Jeremiah is going to be teaching the commandments. Even though God said before, you're going to discontinue Jeremiah from keeping my commandments. So what does this prove? That the Most High has the ability to then go save who he want to save and do whoever he want to do it with. But if you was righteous back then, more than likely you're going to be righteous today. This is the power that the Most High gave unto us to learn these scriptures and give people the day of understanding. Read.
After whose counsel I have sanctified and prepared thee 12 trees laden with the diverse fruit. 12 trees laden with diverse fruit, meaning all 12 tribes of Israel is going to come teaching this gospel from all over the planet, including Isaiah and Jeremiah, who discontinued from their heritage. All right? So now let's go back. Matter of fact, give me 1 Kings 8 and 46. I'm going to prove it. Because we read about Isaiah, Jeremiah discontinued from his heritage, but then the Lord showed us in the book of Ezra that he would bethink himself, meaning he will raise him back up. And Isaiah and Jeremiah is going to come back to their nationality. The book 1 Kings chapter 8 and verse 46. If they sin against thee,
Isaiah sinned against God. Jeremiah, who was told he was going to sin against God by saying he's going to discontinue from his heritage. He says, if they sin against thee, read.
For there is no man that sinneth not.
So that proves right there that Jeremiah went off into sin. Read.
And though be angry with them,
And God be angry with them,
and deliver them to the enemy,
And he sent us into captivity.
so that they carried them away captive
Uh-huh.
unto the land of the enemy, far or near.
Meaning in all the lands that we got sent to, we're going to be held captives there.
Yet if they shall bethink
They
themselves,
what?
yet if they shall bethink
The
themselves,
word bethink means to what? Remember. If they should remember themselves. So when the Most High told Jeremiah, you're going to discontinue me, you're not going to remember, he gave him the power later on to say, now I'm going to give you the ears to hear, the heart to comprehend, and you're going to bethink yourself and say, oh snap, this is us. And Jeremiah is going to begin to keep these commandments. Read.
and the land whether they were carried captive, and repent,
And do what?
and
So
repent.
that means Jeremiah had to repent likewise with us. We too have to do what? Repent. But first we got to what? Bethink ourselves. But somebody has to come and teach us these things. Read.
And make supplication unto thee and the land of them that carry them captives,
Saying what?
saying, we have
We
sinned.
got to acknowledge our fault against the Most High. All right? Confess our faults to him. Telling him that we've sinned. Read.
And have done perversely.
Mm-hmm.
We have committed
And
wickedness.
we have committed all types of wickedness. All right? So now go back to Matthew chapter 5. Read.
The book of Matthew chapter 25 and verse 6. And at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him.
So now, this right here is going to be lovely. So when it says, and at midnight, what is midnight? What does midnight consist of? It's not a trick question. What is midnight? What is midnight? In the middle of night. What's going on in the middle of the night? Exactly. It's utter darkness. That's what it is. That's why it's not a trick question. Midnight is dark. Right? Did I answer wrong? Yeah, no, I'm trying to check. I ain't gonna do you like that. All right, but it says at midnight, meaning it's darkness. So keep that in mind. At midnight, and complete darkness, there was a cry made. So what is this cry that was made? Give me Malachi chapter 4. Malachi chapter 4. What is this cry that was made? Malachi chapter 4 and verse 5.
The book of Malachi chapter 4 and verse 5.
Come on.
Behold, I will send you Elijah.
Read that again. Nice and powerful.
Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet.
That's right. It says in that day, a cry was made, and God is saying, I will send you Elijah the prophet
Before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord.
before the coming of Christ. Because when Christ comes back, it's not going to be hugs and kisses. It's going to be a dreadful, bloody, hot mess. And a lot of us is going to be afraid and frightened. The scriptures tell us we're not going to be all joyful and gladful, saying, well, palms out here. A lot is going to see that big black foot come out of the sky, and we're going to give up the ghost. Read it again.
The book of Malachi chapter 4 and verse 5. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming and great and dreadful day of the Lord.
So he always sends forth his prophets, that remnant, that brother that's going to wake up the people. Read.
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
So now the cry that was made is then Elijah coming back and turning the hearts of the children back unto the father and vice versa. Meaning Elijah had to be sent back into the earth to prophesy about this truth. So now all these things that we learned today prove that Elijah now came and gone. And probably not came back and still here. But as far as the truth being revealed, Elijah now did his job. Because we would not have been knowing these things if he had not came already. So Elijah now came and went. All right? That's the cry that was made. Wake up. Come back to your Heavenly Father. That's what it's telling us here. Turning our hearts back unto our forefathers. Meaning we got to dive into this Bible and learn all the things that our foremothers and forefathers done. Take the good and apply them. Take the bad and do not those things. Everybody understand that? That's what it means by turning their hearts back unto the fathers. All right? Go back to Matthew 25 and verse 6 again.
The book of Matthew chapter 25 and verse 6.
Come on.
And at midnight there was a cry made.
So now when it says at midnight, it means when we was in complete darkness. Darkness represents what? Sin or captivity. That's why I asked the question. Why would it talk about midnight? Meaning it represents darkness. Nothing's good about nighttime. All right? In the Bible. In this sense. All right? When it's talking about midnight, it's telling you something bad is about to go down. Utter darkness. Sin. Read.
Behold, the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him.
Read on.
Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise.
So go back. I want to speed by to verse 7. We got some meat on that one too.
Verse 7. Then all those virgins arose.
So then all those virgins arose.
And trimmed their lamps.
And they trimmed their lamps. What is that saying? They got ready for Christ. They was preparing themselves. Likewise, what you all are doing right now. Those of you that dang just got off work, they're all tired. This is you all trimming y'all dang on lamps. Preparing yourself for the Most High. Those of you that come on the Sabbath, that's you trimming your lamps. Preparing yourself for the Most High's coming. All right? Those of you that go practice keeping the commandments, that's you trimming your lamps and preparing yourself for the Most High. Everybody understand what I'm saying? So we got to get ourselves what? Ready. It's just like at a wedding. A bride always do what? Dress herself up, make herself look beautiful, so she can see that bride, that groom coming down there. Or stand at the altar. All right? So now, read that again. Verse 7.
The book of Matthew chapter 25 and verse 7. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps.
So now, from there, give me the book of Romans chapter 13. Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. Let me show you an example of how they got themselves ready.
The book of Romans chapter 13 and verse 11.
Come on.
And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
So now that we know that we in Bible prophecy, and we seeing all these things being unfolded before our very eyes, he's telling you it's high time for us to awake out of sleep. Read.
For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
So now you got to imagine, Paul thought that it was so close then this time, but he didn't realize how far away it actually was. But for us reading this, we got to take it with the same thought process that Paul had. That listen, we on the verge of being out of here any day. That's how close we are. You look around and see all the foolishness that's going on. You got dang on, the brother sent a text today with, the text said something about a mother and her 3 daughters. And then you look at the after picture, 18 years later, it's the mother with two daughters and 1 boy. And like, did I miss something? Did somebody type that wrong? One of the damn daughters turned into a man. A big muscle-bound dude. And I'm like, man, this is straight foolishness. So this is how we know we're living in these last days, because all this stuff is being unraveled and nobody gives 2 hells about none of this stuff. People just doing what the hell they want to do. And everybody in the world glorifying and clapping their hands, say, oh yeah, that's so lovely. I'm glad she came into herself. You can't say no evil, can't do nothing. All right, that's blasphemy. Read it again.
The book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 11.
Come on.
And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time.
It's even closer for us than the time of Paul when he wrote this. Read.
To awake out of sleep.
And it's warning, giving us a warning that we got to wake up out of sleep. Come on.
For now is our salvation nearer than we believe.
It's a whole heck of a lot closer. Come on.
The night is far spent.
The night is far spent. Meaning we done been in darkness and captivity for too damn long. Read.
The day is at hand.
The day of God's salvation for us is at hand. Read.
Let us therefore cast off the workers of darkness.
We got to cast off the works of darkness, meaning sin. Come on.
And let us put on the armor of light.
The laws of God, the laws, statutes, and commandments. Read on.
Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rotten and darkness.
Not in rioting, meaning feasting, drunkenness. Out there, they're going to have a club, parties, and all that crap. He said, we got to put off that. That's why a lot of us like to rush out of here on the Sabbath and go party. Listen, God says you got to put that off. We done did that too dang long now. Shake the dust, come back to these commandments. Read.
And drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness.
Shaming is going into having a lot of sex. Wantonness is lustfulness. Read.
Not in strife and envy.
We arguing and fighting about stuff. We envying brothers and sisters. He said we got to put off that dang sinful nature. That's the works of darkness. Read.
But put ye on the Lord Jesus Christ.
But contrary to that, we should be putting on the laws, statutes, and commandments. Christ kept the commandments, so it's telling you that we got to put on Christ. We got to do the things that Christ did. We got to walk in the footsteps that Christ walked in. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Read.
And make not provision for the flesh.
And don't make excuses or ways to dangle compliment your flesh. All right? You may get a dangle urge to dangle have a dangle bacon fat burger. And now all of a sudden you want to go and take a bite out of that. Knowing damn well, the Bible says you're not supposed to dangle eat pork. You may make provision to say, you know what? I like the big button to smile. You may make provisions to go and dangle fulfill your sexual lust. All right? Looking at porn. Going and trying to be with females by yourself. Trying to be with dudes by yourself. You're making provisions for these things. You put yourself in compromising positions where now you're going to fulfill that lust because you put yourself in that environment. You're around people that smoking weed. Knowing you used to think on puff and get down on that damn roach. You grow a long fingernail picky till you can fingertips is black. But we ain't gonna smoke weed, we get around people, and then we fulfill that lust. Because why? We got that urge. The Bible says, do not make provisions for the flesh. All right, read.
To fulfill the lust thereof.
To fulfill the lust thereof. So now go back. Go back to Matthew chapter 25, and we're going to pick up at verse 7 again and read on down.
The book of Matthew chapter 25 and verse 7.
You're almost done.
Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps.
So now all the virgins arose and trimmed, began to get themselves ready. That includes the wise and the foolish. Read.
And the foolish said unto the wise, give us your oil.
So now the foolish said unto the wise, give us your oil. Read.
For our lamps are going out.
It says, for our lamps has gone out. Give me Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 20. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 20. When it says, now the foolish turned to the wise and said, listen, give us some of your oil, because our lamp is empty. What is it saying? That they lost their understanding. It was coming, congregating, but nothing was sticking with them. It was just an empty vessel, wasted and taking up seat and time for somebody else. And that's a damn shame. You spent all this time putting in angle work, but really nothing is sticking to you.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 20. There is treasure to be desired.
We read this earlier.
And oil in the dwelling of the wise.
So these wise, they had understanding. They had the precious oil. They had the fuel that you said that they're going to light that fire so the light can shine. They had themselves ready. It was ready to be on fire for the Most High. Read.
But a foolish man spendeth it up.
But the foolish man sit there and don't take nothing in. This handful, don't write no precept down. You see them on the street, they don't apply no commandments. They making all kind of excuses, man. I just got off work, man. What you mean I had no fringes on, nigga? That's the foolish. Come on.
He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness, and honor.
So now, from there, give me Mark chapter 4, verse 3. I'm going to show you another example of what it means by the foolish lamps went out, meaning they had no understanding.
The book of St. Mark, chapter 4, verse 3. Hearken, behold, there ran out a sower to sow.
So now, this is the parable about the 4 different types of Israelites. All right? So now, it says, the sower went out and sowed the word.
And it came to pass, as he sowed, some fell by the wayside.
So as he's sowing the word, meaning he's teaching the word. All right? Some of these seeds, they fell along the wayside. Read.
And the fowls of the air came and devoured it up.
So now, those daggone birds, meaning that other nations, came along and took away your understanding. We out there on the street teaching the word of God, and now you got a damn Edomite or a damn dusty African that come along and say, oh, you know, Jesus loves you. The word now got stored in your spirit, now you take off for them because you're like, yeah, Jesus do love you. He loves you and I. And now you gone. That's the first type of Israelite. Read.
And some fell on stony ground.
Now some of the word fell on stony ground. Now you saw the word, and some of these Israelite brothers, it fell on stony ground. Meaning these are the hard-headed people. All right? But, read.
Where it had not much earth.
It didn't have a whole lot of earth in it for them to take root. But they listened.
And immediately it sprang up.
That's them brothers that they're going to quick to learn the precept. They understand the breakdown, and they see like, oh man, yeah, this stuff is going to be good. This is going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? They learn it quick because why? Their root spring up in them real quick, and it's like, wow, that's going to be that brother going to be on fire for the Most High. Read.
Because it had no depth of earth.
It said now because it didn't have no depth of earth.
But when the sun was up.
So now, when the sun comes up,
it was scorched.
It was scorched, meaning it began to get burnt up.
And because it had no root, it withered away.
That's the brother that we just read about in Matthew chapter 25. All right? This is that person that when all their understanding is in, they're not taking the daggone oil. They lost all the understanding. Now when trials and tribulation come their way, because that's what the sun represents. The sun represents trials. When heat started to go hit your back. And now you met all kind of problems. All right? Your dang flower getting all dried up. You ain't taking no water in to revive yourself. But that sun is steady beating down on you to the point where you just shrivel up and just die. That's your life in this walk, in this truth. You don't take it serious because you met with a little trial, a little tribulation, and you bounce or you fall out of the truth. That's what it says about, and they withered away, meaning they had no understanding. Because why? They didn't have root in this truth. Everybody understand that? So go back. Go back to Matthew. Read verse 8 again.
8.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Matthew chapter 25 and verse 8.
Come on.
And the foolish said unto the wise, give us your oil.
Give us your oil.
For our lamps are going out.
Listen, our understanding have left the building.
But the wise answered, saying, not so.
So the wise said, listen, that ain't going to be possible, bro. Read.
Lest there be not enough for us and you.
It's not good enough for us and you. Come on.
But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves.
So now, what is it saying? They have to be taught again and repent. So now, you got brothers and sisters that sit in the congregation, and they took root. They steadfast, they endured their trials and tribulations, and they're barely making it. Now you got a brother that been with us for X amount of time, or since not been with us for X amount of time, got the same understanding, getting the same teachings and everything, and now when that day comes, they want to come and run to you for help. The wise said, listen, I can't do that. You got to go back to them that was sowing the word. You got to go back and buy from them now. Because otherwise, if I try to help you out, I may end up losing my life. This is what it talks about in Sirach, all right? Ezra's, about the fire on one side and the water on the other. But only one can go through that dang old path by himself. This is what the wise was saying to the foolish. I can't help you now, bro. It's too late. You don't waited too late. You want to try to come in on the last end. We was telling you to get your mind right. Get yourself together, sister. Quit dang on doing X, Y, Z. But no, you want to walk in your own way. I got grace and mercy. I'm going to do when I feel like doing it. I'm going to get mine right when I get my mind right. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to just wait till I get on my dying bed and ask the Lord to forgive me. That don't work. You playing Russian roulette with your life. And shame on you. Shame on you. All right? Read on.
Verse 10.
No, give me Isaiah 55 and verse 1. Isaiah 55 and verse 1. Because when it says, them that, when the wise went to the, when the foolish went to the wise and said, listen, give us some of your oil. And the wise said, listen, we can't. You got to go to them that buy and sell. What does that mean?
The book of Isaiah, chapter 55 and verse 1. Ho! Everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters.
Everyone that is in thirst. All of us at one time was in thirst. Dire need for this word. We got it, we received it, we took hold of it.
Come ye to the waters.
It said, come ye to the waters.
And he that had no money.
The waters represents this Bible, these laws, statutes, and commandments. When you read Ephesians 5, verse 26. All right, the water is the word. So it says, come to the water, meaning come to these words. Read.
And he that had no money.
And those of you that have no money,
come ye, buy and eat.
Come ye, buy and eat.
Yea, come buy wine and milk without money and without price.
Meaning, listen, this dang on truth or this gospel is not supposed to be given to people for money. That's why I understand why people watch Christianity and they're selling these ministries or these teachings for X amount of dollars. This gospel be free. You don't have to be charging the people for this. They're supposed to come sit down and learn this freely. That's why he told those that without money, come, eat, take of this, drink the water, eat this bread without money. It don't cost you nothing to sit here and learn who you are and apply these scriptures. But for some reason, people think it's so hard to come and sit in these doors and just sit down, shut the hell up, and just listen. But see, when we talk like that, I don't like the way that you teach the class. It's always some kind of dang excuse. The Bible says, listen, a sinful man findeth an excuse according to his own will. They're going to try to find anything that they're going to nitpick why they shouldn't come. But really, it's about you and your selfishness to repent of this wicked world. It's not on you. It's not on nobody else. But that's what they do. So now the foolish want that they're going to come and get knowledge now at the last minute. The Most High said, nuh-uh, it ain't going to work. All right, read.
Verse 2.
Now that's our one from that. Give me Proverbs chapter 22 with 23, verse 23. He told them to come. Those that don't have money, don't worry about it. You don't have to pay for it.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 23 and verse 23.
Come on.
Buy the truth.
It says, buy the truth.
And sell it not.
And do not sell this truth. It's telling this thing, but pastor, straight up. Do not be selling the word of God for money. Read.
Also wisdom and instruction and understanding.
Also wisdom and instruction and understanding. All these things is given freely. So that's what it means when it says, buy the truth. Meaning, come and get this for free. Learn these laws, statutes, and commandments and apply it. So when the foolish was told by the wise, go to them that buy and sell, he said, listen, go to them that teach the laws of God, because they're given away for free. I can't teach you about so much, because all I know is about so much. But I kept the little that was given unto me. I don't know what else that you need. You may be battling with a different sin that I don't know nothing about. So you got to go to them that have the understanding to teach you how to overcome that. Because I'm battling with my own demons. That's what it meant by go to them that buy and sell. Everybody understand that? Go back. Matthew chapter 25. Pick up verse 9.
The book of Matthew chapter 25 and verse 9. But the wise answered, saying, not so.
We can't do that, bro.
Lest there be not enough for us and you.
We barely got enough understanding of ourselves. We can't really help you at this point. We got the basics. You should know that.
But go ye rather to them that sell and buy.
So now we understand when it says by selling and buying. It's not actually saying go to them that buy and sell, because the word of God is given what? Freely. All right? It is telling you come and learn and understand this Bible. Take root in it. It don't cost you nothing, because the price For it was already given through who? Christ. You don't have to buy nothing, because what you got to give, it's not going to be suffice. It's not going to suffice unto the Most High. He's going to say, hey, Daddy, crap. I want more than that. And you could be constantly trying to bring gifts. Whatever you bring is not going to be enough. Christ gave the ultimate sacrifice. He paid the ultimate price, is what it's saying here. Read.
Verse 10. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came.
So now, when they went to go and seek for the men of the Lord in that day, Christ showed up on the scene.
And they that were ready,
those that was ready, meaning the 5 wise that was ready,
went in with him.
They went in with Christ
to the marriage.
And they went into the marriage. Meaning they came to the supper and was going to dang what? Have salvation. Meanwhile, the foolish seeking for wisdom.
And the door was shut.
Uh-oh, it's a wrap now, Captain. The doors is shut. So while you going back trying to play catch up, the dang old chariot now came and gone. So now you're looking for the truth, and next thing you know, you see a big old missile on a damn ball of fire coming towards you, and you about to get turned into French toast. Because why? You can take root in this truth. Read.
Afterward came also the other virgin.
So now, wait a minute. It says, and the doors were shut. That's going into our deliverance. I'm going to prove it. Give me Psalms 91. So when it says, and the doors were shut, this talking about literally the chariots going to come and take those wise up, and they're going to shut the door. It ain't going to be like how you see Kevin Hart talking about, in that little movie talking about the last day or something like that, and God came, and the being on light was taking people up, and somebody trying to hold them to somebody's foot. It ain't going to be none of that.
Oh my God, I'm gonna die! Martin! Oh shit! The fuck? Cease! Get the fuck off me, Cease! Ow! Ow! Ow!
Fuck you, Kevin!
Get his fucking hands on me! Get your fucking hands!
We did it!
I'm not getting sucked up into heaven!
What do you mean, why not?
I don't know why not!
Take
Come
my
on.
hand!
Okay, take me with you, Jay!
I'll take you with me!
Ah.
Yay!
Ah.
Yeah!
It's working!
Oh no, he sees us!
You can't touch us! We're in a force field!
It's going to be just like that. Yeah, I made it. And then he get let back down. I'm telling you, boy, you better be mindful until the end. Yeah. Psalm 91.
The book of Psalms, chapter 91 and verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High.
So now when the doors were shut, it's talking about us that stand on practicing these commandments right now. We're keeping our faith in this Bible. This is the doorway to salvation. So it says, those that dwell in the secret places of the Most High, which is this Bible, his words,
shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
The doors is going to be shut. And they're going to be inside the chariots. Those without are dogs. Read.
I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in him will I trust.
In him will I trust. Revelation chapter 11. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 12. Understand. This here, when it says the doors were shut, it's talking about salvation and came. And those that were supposed to be on that ship, those that were supposed to be on that chariot, those that are part of the elect, they're going to be concealed from all the danger that is set for the rest of them that have not got taken up.
The book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 12.
Come on.
And they heard a great voice from heaven, saying unto them,
Saying what?
Come up hither.
Do what?
Come up hither.
Come what?
Come up hither.
Come up hither. Read.
And they ascended up to the heaven in a cloud.
So when it says they come up hither, meaning they went up into the chariots. We know damn well it's not talking about the dang on cloud. It is making reference to, it's going to be a chariot that we can't see. He just referring to it as a cloud. But it's going to be a literal ship, all right, that we can't even imagine. It's a wheel within a wheel. It don't matter. As long as we're in it, that's all that matters. We're going to be protected. That's going to be our fortress. He's going to be our protection. That's our salvation. Read.
And their enemies beheld them.
And our enemies is going to look up and be like, oh, snap, there was the men of God. Them brothers was the dang old prophets of the Most High back on the earth. We just thought them were niggas and coons. That's what we thought they was. Not realize that them were the men of God. But you laughed and you mocked and you scorned us, and you think, oh, now you're gonna have fun. Nuh-uh. That's why God said you better reap. You're gonna reap what you sow. The things that come out your mouth, making mockery of us. God said, I'm gonna remember all those things. That's including our own family and friends. All right, so from there, give me Isaiah 26 and verse 20. We almost done.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 26 and verse 20.
20. Mm-hmm.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 26 and verse 20.
Come on.
Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers.
He said, come. This is him saying, enter into the chamber. When you enter into the chamber, what happens afterwards? The doors get shut. Read.
And shut thy doors about
Shut
thee.
the doors about thee. Come on.
Hide thyself as it were for a little
He
moment.
said, hide yourself for a little moment. How do we hide ourselves? In the words of God. That's why we open up with Psalms 91. Those that dwell in the secret places of the Most High shall not fear no evil thing. So us hiding in these words, meaning meditating in the laws of God, applying it, is us shutting the doors and sealing our faith into salvation. Read.
Until the indignation be overpassed.
Until the indignation be overpassed, until the sins is over.
For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants
He come out of his place to punish the inheritance
of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall thus disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain.
And no more shall we cover in her iniquities or her blood. All right, go back to Isaiah, Matthew chapter 25. Finish that up. The ark, exactly. People were beating on the ark trying to get in. Those are five foolish. They didn't want to believe that Moses was it's going to be a flood. Well, not Moses, but Noah said this is going to be a flood. It's going to be a flood. He was building that ark for 100 years. And they laughed. We ain't never seen no rain. What's this water talking from the sky? What the hell are you talking about? Water don't come from the sky?
Smell the rain coming. Miss you got ourselves some new curtains here. I'm going to try putting them in the bedroom and see what's coming. The living room's already got itself some flower sets. What you looking at?
It's gonna rain on your head.
Until that day, when they saw that first drop of rain, oh snap! Let us in, let us. Nah. It's only for me and my family. Can't help you.
The book of Matthew, chapter 25 and verse 10.
Come on.
And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut.
Our salvation was taken up. We was taken up and was hid from the destruction. Read.
Afterward came also the other virgins.
Afterward came those virgins that went to go seek to buy and sell the knowledge and understanding, saying what?
Lord, Lord, open to us.
They said, Lord, open it to us. Come on.
But he answered and said,
Listen what Christ said unto them.
Verily I say unto you, I know you not.
It's the same thing in Matthew chapter 7. Did I not prophesy in your name, Lord? He said, get away from you, workers of iniquity. I know you not. Because why? You sat inside all these classes, you saw us on the street, and you didn't take heed. You thought that was a joke. You were like, oh, I'll get tired of coming here. There ain't no growth. It's the same people. Oh, we got one or two here. When are we going to do this? Man, you really need to be examining yourself. Now you fall out and say, you know what, hell, I'm going back to Christian church because I want to sing on the choir. Read.
Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh.
He said, watch ye therefore, because you don't know nor the day nor the hour when the Son of Man cometh. All right, from here, give me 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 14. We're going to wrap up here. So that right there is the conclusion of the parable pertaining to the 5 wise and the 5 foolish, the 10 virgins. All right? So now, when it says be mindful because you don't know the day nor the hour, this is what he means here in 2 Peter.
The book of 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 14. Wherefore,
2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 9.
The book of 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 9.
Come on.
The Lord is not slack.
That's why Christ warned the 10 virgins. All right? You don't know when he's coming. So you got to prepare yourself. Be ready for the bridegroom. Get the understanding. Take heed. Take root. Apply yourself. Don't waste this precious treasure that is set before you. Read.
The Lord is not slack concerning his promise.
The Lord is not slack concerning his promise. Read.
As some men count slackness, but is long-suffering.
He's long-suffering.
To usward, not willing that any should perish.
The usward here is still making reference to the 12 tribes of Israel. That's the usward. Read.
But that all should come to repentance.
Like Paul said before, he wants all of Israel to repent. But we understand the prophecy, 2/3 of our people have to be put to death because they're wicked. And that's going to include some of your friends and family. You all got to accept that. You can't bring them in. You can't give them of your oil. They got the same book, the lamp. All they got to do is fill up their damn lamp with the oil.
But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night.
You don't know when that's going to happen.
In the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
You're going to see all kinds of stuff on fire.
The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
Everything that you see from statues that's gay, like the Statue of Liberty, that's actually a man disguised as a woman. That's idolatry. You see all these dang demonic statues with the Baphomet being placed around the schools and stuff like that. All the things will be burnt down. Mount Rushmore with all these fake founding fathers, they're going to be destroyed and burnt down. Martin Luther King's not going to be destroyed and burned and brought down. Read.
Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved. What manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation?
That's the question. What kind of person should we be in this day? We should have holy conversations. Read.
And godliness.
Godliness.
Looking for and hasting unto coming of the day of God.
We should be looking and hasting unto the coming of the day of God.
Wherein the heavens being on fire.
When you see the heavens being on fire, meaning the dang house is going to be on fire. Read.
Shall be dissolved. And the element shall melt with fervent heat.
Everything will be burnt up. Come on.
Nevertheless, we, according to his promise.
According to his promise, when you read about it in Romans chapter 9, we are according to the promise. Read.
Look for new heavens.
We look for new heavens.
And a new earth.
And a new earth. Read.
Wherein dwelleth righteousness.
Wherein nothing but righteousness is all around us. Right now, we live in a place where there's nothing but darkness around us. When we leave these damn doors, you're going to see nothing but all kind of hell and abominations outside them doors. Because why? We're living in darkness. So we want to have a heaven and a new earth where it's nothing but righteousness around us. Where nobody's going to be able to stumble and they're going to fall off the daggone path. Because why? You don't have no temptation there to take you off the daggone track. Your mind is focused and steadfast on the truth. And the place that you live in should be around that. It should be it could be consumed with that understanding. Nothing but righteousness. You shouldn't look around and see no billboard with an half-naked woman, butt naked. People are advertising. Now it's okay for lesbians and gay people to go get married now all over the damn place. We're not going to have that in the new heaven and the new earth. It's going to be nothing but righteousness. Read.
Wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such
He
things,
said, now I want to, beloved, seeing you all look for such a thing. Read.
be diligent.
We got to be what?
Be diligent,
We got to be focused, diligent, consistent. Read.
that ye may be found of him in peace.
So that we can be found of him in peace. Meaning when the time comes, he should see us and say, you know, oh, that's my servant. It shouldn't have to be, oh, now, I don't know if I'm going to make it. You seen everybody else getting taken up. And now you then got to go and get some understanding. It's too late. You got to be found doing the work. Day in and day out. Consistent, diligent. Read.
Without spot and blemish.
Without spot
Blameless.
or blem, and being blameless. We got to be blameless in this walk. Meaning we got to always walk according to the law, statutes, and commandments, regardless of whatever the circumstances may be. Y'all brothers and sisters understand that? So with that, brothers and sisters, I'm going to say shalom. Everybody bless. I hope y'all got some understanding.